Research methods, folks. I am going to work through this descriptives and Excel activities so that you can learn how to not only calculate things like standard deviation, the average, the mean, the median, and the mode, but you can also learn about some of the different formulas that we use for help with this. Now, one of the things that you'll notice in this file, and I've been trying to figure this out. I don't think it likes me very much, but I think this will help, at least initially. So what's kind of happening here is they've put things on separate pages in a print format. And so it's kind of hard to read, but basically this should be one gigantic page rather than these three separate pages. But here's kind of what we're going to be doing. So this looks at the descriptive statistics for the location. So in this case, we can calculate the mean, the median, and the mode, as well as the spread. So we can calculate things like standard deviation, the variance, and the interquartile range. So this is going to help teach you how to do this in Excel. And so we're going to be using some very standard, very basic formulas. Now, one of the things you'll notice, it shows how to use basic Excel formulas. It also shows how to calculate the standard deviation step by step rather than through the standard deviation function. This is worth learning as it helps you think through what a standard deviation really is. Don't forget that the sum of the squared deviation scores is divided by n-1 when we're calculating that. To calculate that, you're going to need to calculate a deviation score for each participant. In this case, what you can do is put this kind of in different areas. And so not only is this easier to read, it works great with Excel's autofill feature. If you don't name the cell with the mean, you'll need to protect the reference to the mean to use autofill. So here's what we're going to do. So Excel is pretty handy in that it uses formulas. And so one of the things that we can do is we can do very basic formula mathematics, the different mathematics to help figure out what we need to do. So here's one of the things that we can do first, and I'd like to show you a few basic formulas. This will kind of help you out as we continue. So if you want to sum something together, there's a formula called sum. You can actually see me typing that in here. So to be able to calculate a mean, we first need to have a sum of all of our scores, and we need to have our count. So what I'm doing right now is I'm selecting all of the windows for our variable. In this case, that's attachment security. Now remember, when you're calculating a sum or any formula and you've put in a range, don't forget to close off the parenthesis. So here we've selected values B2 through B11. And I'm going to go ahead and hit enter, and you can see that our sum is 51. If we want to get a count, that's pretty easy too. We can just do a count of those same values. I like to drag and drop, but you can also type these in if you wish. So now, if I want to get my mean, what I can do is I can reference my sum, which here is B14. And you can see, 13, B13, which gives you my sum. And then I need to do my count. So that's going to be B14. So now I've got the sum of all of my values over my count. I hit enter, and congratulations, we now have a mean of 5.1. And we'll go through this later to check and make sure that you've done this correctly. So now that I've got my mean, I can start doing my deviation scores. And that's pretty easy to do in Excel. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up here in the formula bar, and I'm going to type, so I'm going to pick B2, that is the particular value that I'm referencing, minus B15. And so here, now I've gotten my value. And one of the things that you have to watch out for is if I do B3 minus B15. So I just keep doing that over and over again. Now there's a pretty simple thing to do. You can copy and paste these, as you can see I'm doing here with Control C for copy and Control V for paste. But what you'll kind of notice is that when I do this, it's doing B17, B19, B21, B20. So it's part of the reason why the little box kind of urged you to label. But there's a pretty easy way to fix this. If I go to Home, I can go to Find and Select. I can replace. So you'll notice that I've selected these particular bars. If I pick, ooh, that's not a good idea. So in this particular case, I'm just going to reference B15 all over again. So B4 minus B15, B5 minus B15, B6 minus B15 equals B7 minus B15. It's a little tedious, but it's easier this way, equals B8. Oh, nope. Let's go back and make sure we did this right. This is kind of important. So this should be 6. Oh my. Yeah, we kind of messed this up. Equals B7 minus B15 equals B8 minus B15 equals B9 minus B15 equals B10 minus B15 and equals B11 minus B15. So now I've got my deviations. So one of the ways that we can kind of pull a check on this and make sure that we did it correctly is we can actually sum these together. If you remember, what we should be able to get when we do this is 0, and I did not. So let's kind of go through and figure out what happened here. And here's kind of where and this is a helpful thing to do. I'm not always perfect at these things, but troubleshooting can be incredibly useful. So this is B6 minus B15. And I'm going to hit enter. And look at that. As soon as I fixed that, my value went to 0. And so that's how we know that we did this right. So now what we're going to do is our sum of squared deviations. This is pretty easy. All we're going to do is equals. We're going to take the value that we obtained for our deviation score in the corresponding row, so in this particular, or corresponding column, so we're going to pick C2, and then if I want to square something, all I have to do is enter in the little caret, so press the shift bar and hit the 6 key, and we're going to go 2. So now I'm going to control C, and I'm going to control V, all down here, and ideally we should see that this works out pretty well. So we do our sums of squared deviations. So we do our sum of D2 through D11. Oh, not D110. We hit enter. We get 54.9. Now in this particular case, we're going to have to do n minus 9. So now what I want to do is I want to be able to calculate my standard deviation score. So my count, I'm going to go do this down here, over here, because it's a little bit easier to do. So I've got my sums of squared deviations. So now here's how I'm going to put in this formula. So I'm going to enter in this area called standard deviation, standard dev, like that. And I'm going to go ahead and highlight that for you so you can see it. So here's what we're going to do with these basic formulas. I'm going to do SQRT. So I've got my square root. We've got our sums of squared deviations. In this case, that is D13 over, remember, n. So what I'm going to do is a few extra parentheses just to make my life a little easier. So I've got D13 over my count minus 1. So in this particular case, we do our count. That is B14 let's do this one more time. B14 minus 1. I like to use a few extra parentheses just to make sure I've got it. So now we've got our square root. And our standard deviation should be 2.46. So now that we've done this, we can actually do a check with our different formulas. And so here's what you can do now that we've kind of calculated all of these different values by hand. There's actually a pretty straightforward way to do this. By the way, if you're interested in calculating the variance, VAR, what's that? Okay, I've got the caps lock on, VAR. So we're going to do not the square root. We're going to do sums of squares over n minus 1. Another way that we can do that is just do our standard deviation squared. So we can do G12, no, G11, there we go, squared. We should get about 6.1 if we did this correctly. So let's work through it together and see if we find that. So if I want to figure out the average of my data using a very simple formula, all I have to do is the word average. So it's not going to be the word mean, it's going to be the word average. So all I have to do is select my data, hit enter, and we get 5.1. If I want to figure out the median of my data, which I did not do by hand, but it should be pretty straightforward. You're going to order all of these and put them in order and pick the one that's in the middle. In this case, our median is 5.5, so we take the average of 5 and 6, which are probably our middle values. We're going to calculate our mode the exact same way. Let's scroll on down, enter, and our mode is 6, and as you can see, if you look through by hand, that is our most frequently occurring value. So now we can use our standard deviation formula, standard.s. Make sure you pick standard deviation.s because that is what you do for, this is what you do for samples, not populations. Okay, we get 2.4698, check it out. It matches the one we calculated by hand. Now we're going to do our var.s. Ideally, we should get the same value that we obtained by hand as well. We do. And now we can actually get our range. So in this particular case, what we're going to do is our max, our maximum value, minus our min value. So we're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to double select it. Our max minus min, our range is 7, so our highest value is 9, and our lowest value is 2. You can also do sum, which I actually already showed you. You can also do count. Here are the different formulas that you will see. So plus is plus, minus is minus. If you want to multiply, you use the asterisk. If you want to divide, you use a backslash or a forward slash, a caret for an exponent, and a square root for a squirt, or squirt for square root, so to speak. Now, one thing that you can also do that they did not mention is you can actually do percentile, returns the kth percentile of values in a range. So here's what I do. So it gives me an array, and in this particular case, I want to calculate my interquartile range. So what I can do is I can enter in my array. I want the 25th value. What's at the 25th percentile? Oh, it does not like that. We will figure this out another time, but I think you've got the basic idea of the formulas that you can do. We can go through the key and check it, and if you look, there are also some data sets to try for yourself. So look through this if you need to. Feel free to ask me any questions. We will talk about how to calculate interquartile range next time in Excel, but I'll do that when I come back. See you later.